SVG Sports Tech On Demand back with you. I'm Jason Dachman, Chief Editor at SVG, and I have the privilege of being joined by Josh Liemer, President at VISTA WorldLink, as well as Mike Freedman, Executive Producer at VISTA. Gentlemen, first and foremost, is everybody healthy at VISTA and in your guys' household? And where are you calling us from today, Josh?
I'm in Miami Beach, so a unique place to be quarantined. The silver lining is that the sun is shining and we have some blue skies. But yes, thank God, thank goodness, everyone is safe in my family and my VISTA family. Thank goodness.
Great to hear. Great to hear. So, guys, VISTA has been really pushing that REMI, at-home, remote production, whatever you want to call it, curve forward for several years. You guys have your REMI Center down in the Miami area where hundreds, if not, I don't know, thousands at this point, I'm sure, live events have been produced remotely from your guys' control rooms. We're in a situation now where there have to be a lot of remote productions, a lot of REMI productions happening. So tell me a little bit about what's happening for you guys right now. How are you guys trying to serve the community right now as everybody's working from their home offices and kitchens and everything?
Sure. I'll kick it off and then throw it over to Mike. Mike said it well earlier that we have been a pioneer in the REMI workflow. A lot of people call it at-home workflow, and we're certainly working from at home and from other people's homes. And I think that the whole industry has seen a wave of a prosumer type of video quality and content, allowing for content to be created in these unprecedented times. So, at VISTA, we've always tried to use innovative technology to push narrative and create editorial while, providing the best quality as possible and being cost effective. And during this time, our customers who rely on us for live sports content have relied on us to be creative, to figure out other ways to produce content while we haven't been able to be on the courts and on the fields and whatnot. So, Mike and his team at VISTA have been able to work from their homes, which has been great. And, I can't believe I haven't seen Mike in the flesh in, 30 plus days. We have Mike working from, Fort Lauderdale, Florida at his home. We have a coordinating producer, Sharni Yerk, working out of her home in Orlando. And we're interviewing and creating content from clients and customers that are all over the country and all over the world, as we're continuously creating content and still funneling content through the VISTA centralized broadcast facility.
Right. And Mike, what's the workflow been like? You guys probably had to build out some new workflows on the fly and find new ways to do this type of REMI production, right?
For sure. I mean, without mentioning that I have 4 kids at home and juggling their virtual school and all that. And then, Mike jumping into this call now, for sure. It's been a challenge, using different forms of communication like Zoom, obviously texting, everything still exists. But I think just to piggyback off of what Josh said, another interesting part of what we're doing is we're the archive house for all of these clients that we have, MLS, USL, NWSL. So beyond the actual productions of these games, how can we tap into that archiving experience and be a resource to these leagues that still need to pump out content to keep their fans engaged? And that's been a real blessing for us.
Great. So give me an example, of a show that you guys are doing right now. Obviously there's no live sports per se, but there's plenty of eSports. There's plenty of other content. Do you have a good example of maybe one of the cool shows you're working on?
I think something we're very proud of is the USL eCup, 64 matches of USL connected Rocket League tournament. I'll let Mike go into the granular details. And then the other thing that we're very proud of, it debuted last night, was a bare knuckle fighting championship virtual hangout in which Mike produced live interviews with the fighters that actually were fighting in historical matches. And if you haven't checked it out, go to YouTube, watch it. It's some of the most entertaining content I've seen in a long time. Even knowing what was going to come, but what I could anticipate, it was still fantastic. So
Sweet.
Mike should talk a little bit more about the granular details of those events.
Go for it,
I think for starters with USL, they created a tournament to mimic the World Cup workflow. So it was group stages followed by a knockout round. And we're currently in the middle of that knockout round. We've been able to use our two main play-by-play and color commentators, Mike Watts and Devin Kerr. They're calling these matches from their house. As Josh alluded to earlier, our coordinating producer, Sharni Yerke, is producing these matches from her house, and we're able to put it all together thanks with our partners at Kiswe with their technology. And I don't think anybody would notice the difference. You know, the entire tournament is airing on ESPN3. It's got an open with graphics. It has the matches. It has, you know, kind of an ending segment with highlights and teasing what's next. And it's been great.
Very cool.
And then, sorry, just the bare knuckles, just to piggyback off what Josh said, you know, again, it was how do we take that historical content? So we took 3 of the biggest fights that bare knuckles has had. We got all 6 fighters involved, and they were just talking smack to each other the entire time while watching themselves punch each other. And it was a pretty interesting experience, but again, great for the viewers at home.
That sounds very awesome. Very cool. And on the esports side, they're pretty much the only game in town right now. So esports is having its moment with events like, you know, the EMLS and the USL. Want to ask you just briefly, Josh, look, we're in a very difficult time right now. There are no live sports happening, but they will come back. And when they do, you know, the live production world's going to look very different. I think we all know that the days of having 15 trucks in the compound and 15 people in each truck are probably behind us. And that's going to open up the door for a lot more REMI and at-home workflows. So how do you see VISTA playing a role in that sort of evolving ecosystem? And how do you think it's going to play out as people move to more of a centralized production model, most likely?
I think it's a great question, Jason. And you know, first and foremost, I just want to send out, you know, my thoughts, prayers, and love to the entire industry. You know, it's a close knit industry. We all work together. We're friends, we're colleagues, we're competitors, we're customers, we're clients, and I just hope everyone out there is doing well in this challenging times. But you know, as you said, you know, life hopefully will come back to some sort of semblance of normalcy. We'll get through these unprecedented times, and you know, footprints will be smaller at these venues. We're going to have to still try to limit how many people are interacting. I'm assuming social distancing will be in place for the inevitable future. So, you know, when we pivoted into a centralized broadcast business model at VISTA, I don't think anyone could ever think that something like this was
Sure.
something we were going to be managing. It always was about creating quality content cost effectively at a very large volume, and be able to do that for many tenants and different customers, and repurposing you know, facilities and whatnot. I think that's going to be very strategic in this new future that we're going to all navigate towards. Want to do everything the right way and keep everyone safe. And if we're able to have a small part in that, I think that would be a win-win for everyone.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's going to be a different world, but we're all going to figure it out. We're going to figure out ways to bring live sports and entertainment to the fans. And I'm sure you guys will play a big role in that. So Josh, Mike, really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks so much. And please stay safe, stay healthy, and our thoughts to the entire VISTA team.
Thank you so much, and stay safe as well.
Thank you, and you guys as well.
Great, guys. For more episodes of SVG SportsTech On Demand, stay tuned to sportsvideo.org and the SVG YouTube channel.